Hello and welcome to episode 16 of our Timberborn 1.0 Waterbeavers playthrough, cycle 16, day 1. Got a lot of stuff to take care of today, so let's just get right on to it. I asked you guys a bunch of questions last episode about what you would like me to see doing here, and I think what's going to happen is we're going to eliminate this Everblossom farming area and replace it with food growing. And there's a couple different ways we could do that. But I've been reminded that the large farmhouse is something that I need to get to pretty quickly. And that, of course, requires researching the blueprints. So what's happened here is the Floodgate Dam blueprints were already researched by this Mechanics Lodge, and it's currently making another one, which it should not be doing because I already have 16 of the fancy ones. So what has to happen is we have to not do that. And how are we going to do that? Well, it's a very good question. I could just click off of this, but then we're going to waste all those resources. But also, it's 6.5 days, technically 6.25 days, of lost productivity if I let it finish, which I think is probably a little bit more important. We can't research the large farmhouse from the Mechanics Lodge, but we can have them instead research something that is going to be useful, like the aquifer pump, beaver washing machine, improved water wheel blueprints, or the ENS. I'm going to probably need to make improved water wheel blueprints instead, but let's check the recipes on these. That is in here. That's Floodgate Dam, improved water wheel. So it's basically the same stuff minus these other ones on the bottom here for most of these. That is the beaver washing machine. This is beaver washing machine is the one that, you know, decontaminates beavers really quickly, which currently isn't an issue. Aquifer pump. I'm gonna go. I think improved water wheel makes the most sense right now, so we're just gonna, you know, do that. Have them start on all of those fun things. Let's see. But yeah, we just we have a tremendous need for stuff to be good, which is very hard when you're doing a bunch of things all at once and also trying to make videos about it, because then everyone is going to see all of your mistakes much more easily than you will. But this is where we do the large farmhouse blueprint. Not a difficult decision to make to get this taken care of. I will let them finish this scaffolding before we do that, but let's just check the recipe on here. Which, is this the... No, this is the farmhouse one? Yes. Shouldn't be that big of a deal, but it will take 12.5 days, so we need to start that as soon as we can. Anyway, the large farmhouse is a very, very good thing for us to put right about here, because we have to have 2 deep water for nennephars. Thank you, mute button, for the sneeze function. And I think also putting nennephars here, provided we can keep the level deep enough where they're not going to die immediately, because they do have a drought resistance of only 4 days. We can also do pumpkins up here, which would be great. I don't know if we want to necessarily rip all of this out in advance of that blueprint being done. We're going to see what happens, but I think I can very safely unplant all of these trees because, well, don't really need them. And this forester can thus go away. Give us a little bit of overflow beds back. Or I guess at this point, create a deficit. What's this one doing? Okay, just gears. This is at 65%. I have to remember to get back to that. We have a regular paper mill now, which is great, except for the part where it is not able to get pine resin, which I do understand the irony of this entire situation with the power shafts and everything being in stupid locations, yes. But my thought behind not having the path go up and over the power shafts, like I think at least one person suggested, was so that I could retain access to as many of these pine trees as I could. And this right now just clearly is not enough. And I know we need more of those. They will grow back in time. And I don't know, there's so many things going through my mind that I'm having a really hard time parsing at once, so forgive me. But somebody a comment about the tapper's flag needing to go into the tunnel. There's like a halfway point so they can get to here and here. Ain't gonna fit. It's too tall. I don't know if in this mod I can actually get away with putting in... Oh, okay. So I figured it probably wouldn't work because it's a crappy platform and you're not supposed to be able to stack those. But the game doesn't seem to have a problem letting me place that. So it is what it is. This can currently only access, what, 7 of these? I was hoping it would be a little bit more. Well, is what it is. I have enough extra beavers where I could put another tapper's flag over here just for the, purpose of squeezing out as much from this as I possibly can. But, long term, we are going to need to have more pine trees to take care of all of those things. This is at 75%. Just want to make sure we don't miss that. I guess going back to, working on the improved water wheel blueprints. These are just so much better, and these do both require blueprints now, by the way. It used to just be the large ones in the previous version that I've made a series on require the blueprint, but the medium one does as well. This is 30 HP per cubic meter per second. This is 180. It's 6 times. And then this is 600. So even if I just did these medium ones and replaced 1, 2, 3 here, it would still be theoretically up to 6 times as much power gleaned from this, which that would substantially improve almost everything we have going here. I need to unpause this aquifer drill first of all. It's kind of stupid that I forgot that. That is, it's another reason I guess I should maybe get into the calculatorium soon. And it's only one science. This was just intimidating to the point of me not wanting to mess with it, but I've been told it's not as bad as I was afraid of. I think since this is clean water, yeah, I'm gonna open this so that we can, fill this just a little bit faster. I do have to manually control this, at least for now, until we have automation set up, but like I said, there's just so many little things I've got to, take care of, balancing, remembering to do, not forgetting, etc. It's a lot. But should get better sometime soonish. I just wanted to make sure I deal with the comments and questions that people have had before I forget about them. So many things have to get taken care of. I think before I forget about this and it becomes a huge problem, I am going to close this again. Yeah, that's gonna be fine. Let's just pop that back in. Yes, we do have... Oh, hey, Eld. Too many beavers working in these lumberjack barns on this side of the map. So, hey, Battery Smooth. I am going to start removing some of these guys. We don't need to have 12. We probably don't even need to have 9. But, in fact, this one I'm going to take down to 2. What we can do, we have this extra space. I was reminded we can plant berries if we want to have a harvester over here, which I don't really think is super necessary. But we can. And we have this forester here that is practically begging for something else to do. And I had originally said, I wanted to keep this area pretty focused on trees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these out. Going to make sure that this is still going to be... Yeah, that's going to get me decent enough. Do we need to plant more everblossoms? Probably not. But pines, a combination of pines and maybe some other stuff would be a smart choice. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to go about this. Because chestnuts we're not hurting for, but pines we definitely are. And, oh, that's right, the blueberries require a tree nursery. I always get those mixed up. I think without building a harvester's cottage or... Wait, no, that's not... That can't even... What am I saying? That doesn't even work at the same thing. Never mind. That was the completely different thing that goes in the logging tapper's shack. That's a triangle building. Yeah, I was trying to think. Do I want to tear this down and then just build other stuff? But no, I don't. I'm fine to just put another one of these things somewhere over here. I think I can. No, I can't. I can't flip that. But this would give me almost the same amount of space as the forester would. It would, you see, I don't know. Like, crippling indecision and all of that aside, there's too many things going on for my brain to really parse stuff. I don't know. That is one of those things that I kind of really regret about the way that I do my videos, is that it ends up creating sometimes some pretty annoying problems with regard to how I have to invest my time and energy. And it definitely shows in the videos, and people have varying degrees of patience for me as a result. But I digress. Tapper Shack covers almost the same range as the Forester, almost the same range as the Lumberjack's Barn. I think for what we're doing here, pine resin makes the most sense. And this Lumberjack's Barn being used for this may have been a mistake, but I'm not tearing all this down again. It's going to be fine. I will probably take this down to 2 beavers just because they're taking care of brambles. And I will just have this be all pines, assuming I can actually plant. Yeah, let's just do that. Because we got to do something about having pine resin. We're really going to need a lot of it. And that is almost as far as that can reach down to here. I need to not mark these for cutting because obviously. And maybe I need to rebuild my my fencing here. Probably not. You know what? I'm going to do it anyway because on the off chance a bramble gets up here, it's over. It's just super over. So that'll be fine. This Tapper Shack also being directly adjacent to the Lumberjack's Barn and by proxy the zipline station may also. Yeah, okay, this one has access here, which is great except for the fact that it doesn't reach any of these things. Wait, no way. No way, this reaches here, and here, and here? That seems really overpowered. In fact, I would say that doesn't even, like, really overpowered doesn't even begin to describe what that is. Well, this makes me want to extend this all the way down here. That could be possibly very helpful. Anyway, regardless, an attempt is being made for this to be less terrible. So hopefully we can all appreciate that. Oh, there's so many things to get to. Part of the reason a lot of stuff has gone kind of is because I only have one alchemist and I keep forgetting to swap between recipes. We need more basic balm. Medical balm now is what it's called. Unfortunately, I kind of shoehorned myself into using a bunch of brain boosting salts. And science is kind of a necessary thing. So I need more alchemists. But to make more alchemists, I have to have, and this is the water beaver's problem. Everything is. But I have to have more stuff to do the laboratory glassware, which means I have to have the medium mine and all these other things. So the time has come for this to just be a put up or shut up scenario. And I'm going to have to just blast this thing. I think this is probably the best place to do it. Just blast this to smithereens and put a couple of medium mines in. And probably a closer staircase path. I just... not a super simple prospect. Because I have to blast this flat enough to be able to use it, and then I also have to blast it down to build the mine. Which, oh, by the way, requires me to swap this into making nitroglycerin again. Assuming I'm not already... No, I've actually got nitroglycerin. The problem is paper, it seems. Well, I'm going to let them keep on doing what they're doing, and I am going to, at least for a moment, swap this back over to medical balm. Because we've got beavers that have disease and burns and all that other stuff they can't get any help for whatsoever. In the meantime, I think it's going to be necessary for us to just plunk that all the way down and do what we can do. We could also maybe blast this out, but having this area specifically right here dedicated to medium mines is probably the best we're going to be able to do. Oh yeah. Remember when I was going to, stop them from doing this so I could swap over to the large farmhouse blueprint? Yeah, good times. Let's just speed through the rest of this day here until I see that go to 0%, then I'll click this. Because I'm going to forget. Absolutely going to forget. Alright, 0%. Now we can make the large farmhouse blueprints, which we absolutely need. This is continuing to be a thing. Food, I hear you. I see you. The comments about the cereal bars is just... Every fiber of my fragile understanding and grasp of reality in this game makes it seem like this should not work. But I guess if enough people are telling me it works, then it probably does, and I'm just an idiot. So, I guess it's fine. Probably. But keep in mind, it needs pine resin, which we really don't have enough of. I'll give it a shot, though. Maybe to my detriment. I don't know. But this will eventually help solve a lot of those problems. Yes, I know we have 19 unemployed beavers. We need to do something about that. Because I've got the hauler upgrade all working here. There's not a lot of other jobs I can really have the beavers in without it being a problem by adding additional housing. It's just kind of a difficult scenario I've gotten myself into. The mines will help a lot. Which adding, I think, what these support, like 10 jobs? Yeah, the mines will help. But as you may have guessed, we have to get there. And that will be a whole process. Someone else left a comment asking if I could put another zip line coming off the front of this. We absolutely can. That is always allowed. And right here may actually be a good spot to do that. Actually, before they build this, let's see what the limit is on how far out I can go, because I do still want to get to the other side here. Get connected whatever I build on this side. Yeah, see, that's about as far as that can go, and this I think is reachable without it being a huge pain in the butt. So I will tentatively do this. The zipline pylons do only allow one other connection, but that's fine because I'm not really that worried about interconnectivity to any of this stuff as I am about going to the other side, because this isn't that far, and then eventually, this isn't going to be that far from here. In time, we'll get everything fixed up. It's just, you got to do one little thing every single time you try to do literally anything, and it turns into a mess. We don't need this anymore. So these can go away. I'm just going to go ahead and take those all out. They'll come grab that if they decide to. But what we should probably do is unlock the floodgate dam, because we do have the blueprints for that, and put in one of those, I guess right here on the edge of the map would be fine, so we can retain water during droughts. Bad tides, obviously this has to be open. But this would be probably one of the best places on the map for me to put one of these things. Outside of potentially somewhere up here maybe, to try and force more water through one side. Not entirely sure if I could... Yeah, I probably can't get to that. But that will be on the list of stuff. Obviously, everything just takes monstrous amounts of time and resources in this mod, so it's not just a set it and forget it method of getting anything accomplished. We will have to be careful with how much time and effort we put into these things. All of that being said, I do want to go through these jobs and make sure that I'm not artificially limiting employment at any of these places if I don't have to be. Outside of the ones I've already said, there's no reason to have beavers in here because they're already outworking what the resources could support. See, like, even these jobs that don't require beavers to be working in them are all filled. So that ought to tell you how things are going on. The fluid dump is paused. Lumberjack's barn, we already talked about why that's happening. Mushroom growers. This one's not prioritized. Why not? Go ahead and just tick that. Yeah, it looks like everything is pretty reasonably staffed. And the mines really are going to be basically what we have to do with this. So let's think about it. Minus 250. Do I have all the materials to do this? I do, I think. Yeah, it's hard for me to see everything all at once. Tools. I don't see tools, which of course means they're probably hiding somewhere. Metal fasteners. I know I need to have more anvils. Okay, the tools are legitimately out. Let's swap those back over, because I know I'm going to have tools. Because I think those were being used to do something else. No, plant fibers also aren't a thing. That's making berries. That's making plant fibers. Berries, once we have tree nursery, etc. Again, so many things to keep up with. It's monstrous. Pine resin proven to be kind of a pain, but it is what it is. Let's just get through the rest of the night here. Builders are doing what? That's like the theme of this, is what in the world are my builders doing? Besides sleeping. Okay, going to probably make dynamite. Yeah, okay, well, that's fine. I do need that. Just want to make sure that's not being a complete mess. Okay, I've been trying to do this for like a bunch of episodes and I always forget. Our friend Jason has implored me to look at the weather station model, which I'm assuming is just the same thing that they've got in the base game, but... Oh, well, that's different. Okay. Not that I have anything to build this on right now, but that is an interesting design choice of requirements for weather stations, but that's neat. Can't build it, but at some point maybe. What else? What else is super lagging? There's so many things. A couple of berry bushes. There's like 3 or 4 berry bushes that we probably could be gathering here. The rest of these are dead from drying out. I mean, things are bad enough right now with how gathering is going, and I have enough extra beavers where there's really no reason not to be gathering these. So I guess I'll just do it. Why not? These guys working... This is probably enough right now to start building this other thing, but I want to make sure this is all taken care of first. Okay, pencil sets. Pencil sets. Who is making pencil sets? No one is making pencil sets. That's probably not ideal, but I don't know that I have anything else using pencil sets. Ah, yes. Pine resin in the paper mill. What about this? Okay, this has 1. We really don't need this one operating either. But, you know how it goes. I got so many extra beavers, it probably isn't hurting anything. Okay, what to do? Are we even making cereal bars? Okay, we are. I've been told by, I think at this point, like 4 or 5 different people that it's insanity not to be making these. Just, I have to trust you at this point. And I have no reason to believe that you're lying. It just, my brain is screaming at me that that does not make any sense because of all the raw materials being in short supply. That's just, for whatever reason, that's the way my brain is wired. Okay, and that's waiting on tools. That's a good reason to get those going again. Okay. Another thing worth bringing up. I made a comment about the Everblossom farm. I can't even talk today. Sheesh. Not being a thing, but I've been told it is here in the forestry thing. So, there you go. That does exist. I just somehow missed that because I was looking in the, this thing. Because this used to be, I think, in a separate grouping. I don't know. Stuff has moved around. Let's see. What else? What else? Seamstress. Rope maker. No, not a rope maker. There's a... There it is. Another thing we should probably get going at some point soon-ish. To make the satchel and the sandals or whatever that is. probably after we also have a dedicated rope maker. But again, science. Science is always a thing. Now I'm remembering, I think someone left a comment asking about a number cruncher, and I responded to them saying we didn't have nearly enough resources to do that without remembering that White Paws don't have a number cruncher. So, apologies if that was you. And I just completely missed what video series I was responding to and mixing things back up. Oh, boy. It's been a very, very, very long couple of weeks. I should not have tried to do this and the whatever the other series is right now at the same time, because it's honestly nuking my brain at this point. But you know how it goes. Let's grab these off of the ground, assuming they can reach that. Yeah, because we are running kind of low on logs, despite simultaneously having way too many and also not enough logs available for cutting. These have not been marked. That will need to be marked. Let's get that going. Yeah, actually, I'm not sure. I guess we just got them all at once somehow. Yeah, that was a whole thing. I'm thinking based on the amount of chestnuts that we currently have unharvested, it may be, depending on how long it takes to get this up and running, it may be worth eliminating a couple of rows of them and getting more pines. I don't know. We're going to see. We're going to have to wait and see, because that's just how it goes. Probably still don't have enough mushrooms being grown. I was asked why all of these are on the slow recipe. It's because the slow recipe is objectively better, because it doesn't have to be babysat as much. You just have to wait for everything to grow. We will be building more of those as soon as I find somewhere else I can stick them. Missing 3 dynamite. I'm actually not missing any dynamite for this. They just have to finish putting those in. Okay. That's probably okay. Yeah, lowering the number of workers in these lumberjack barns seems to have probably helped a little bit in terms of getting these brambles repopulated. We probably didn't need to from a workforce perspective. At least not right now, but we can live with that. Alright, come and finish these last couple pieces of dynamite so I can get this blasted and start on the mines, because that is going to... well, it's not going to solve so many problems, but it's going to help get a lot of stuff done. Okay. Okay for Kaboom. Nobody walk on here, please, and thank you. Alright. So now what this gives us is a big flat area. And we have the medium mine, which I will now unlock. Once again, this takes up half the screen, so I have to block it out. But the way that the medium mine works is it has to have empty space for the front of the thing to go. And then you have to have a way to get stairs down to it. I've seen conflicting information from a few of you about how much you actually have to blast out, and that it is probably different from the previous version. So, what we will do is we will consult the mostly helpful billboards, and one of these is about the mine. There it is. This seems to suggest that it has not changed from the previous versions of the game. Does it have a different thing on the other side? No. So, I can only assume that this is going to still work the same way. And that is what I'm going to base it off of, using the stairs to get down there. I have in the past also used ladders, which we have not unlocked for obvious reasons in this playthrough. I've used ladders, I've used overhang platforms and skewer platforms to put in additional storage in those same areas, and that worked pretty well. But for now, what I have to work with is just the information that is presented to me in an official capacity. So, you have the little doorway on the side there. That has to be level with the fences, so that does not get blasted out. Everything else on the inside has to go, I think, 4 down, according to... yeah. According to that, minus where the stairs go. So, if we want to put more than one of these in, we will have to figure out some way of nesting these or what have you. Remember that where the tools are, that inset thing, that can basically be any height, but it can't overlap with this, obviously. That does not have to get blasted out. That just has to be somewhere that the model can fit inside of. So I was thinking about maybe doing... Again, I can't put that there. But like right up against the side here, so that this counts as in that, see if I can get, yeah. I was thinking about doing like right about here. So that that would be in the side of the cliff, and then I can put another one next to it that is just flipped, and have them share one piece of stuff. Yeah, that's a very technical term, but that would allow me to use this as a road, which why don't we preemptively do that? Just so that that's all the same. And that gives me a better idea of what I need to actually blast out. I have a very hard time doing this, so bear with me. But as long as I can fit the fences where they need to go, I just need to skip one. I know this is right here, and it's supposed to, in theory, help me, but you've seen enough of these videos to know that things just don't work. So that needs to go... Oh, and this is also rotated and flipped weird from what I was like. I'm sorry. Just please give me the kindness of just allowing my brain to do what it has to do. That was okay because the perspective is like really off for some of this. Yeah, I just have to be very careful about how I put this in. Okay, yeah, just because the perspective is so screwed up, it's probably easier to do it from further away. Be very, very, very careful how I drop this down. To my knowledge, that is one too many there. Yes. That's what I need to do. Okay. So this for sure needs to all go down one level, and then I can put the stairs down, which will help it get... Anyway, I don't need to sit here and babysit the rest of this. I may consult it a few more times as this continues going on, but just please. If we can all be in the understanding that that's how that needs to go, then I think we'll be substantially happier. I'm talking to myself as much as I am to you. I'm going to hit pause on this drill now so we don't overflow. That also needs to be automated at some point. Yeah, we're still very, very, very low on berries and sunflower seeds. And we also do not have any cereal bars. Okay, that's the pine resin. That's why. It's going to take a long time. Wait a second. Okay, that's 15 days. That is, that's Waterbeavers. That's not, the base game's 12. That's what was messing me up. Okay, triple speed through here. Did we collect these? Looks like we did, probably. Okay. That's fine. How are we looking on... okay, alright. Yep, I've made poor choices. This needs to make pencil sets ASAP. This has been waiting this entire last 30 minutes on having pencil sets, so we're absolutely not going to have that today. Just need to get 10 pencil sets in there. Fortunately, we're 31% of the way to having improved water wheel blueprints, which is good. Probably, maybe we should do the ENS ones next, honestly, because the aquifer pump is... where is the aquifer pump anyway? Is that on some sort of insane other thing I haven't found yet? No, it's not. Why? I don't have... Or is that just a holdover? I don't see that at all. Or is it under aqueducts? No. It's not under that. It's a river bath tank, shower valve lodge. Why is it under irrigation? Okay. Well, I guess that explains that. Maximum depth, 999 meters. That's pretty deep. Okay, that has to go on top of two... Alright, that's more than my brain power is able to work on right now. Ah, yes. The never-ending problem of not enough materials for things. That needs more nitroglycerin. At least we're making pencil sets. This now has run out of brain-boosting salts. Did I even make medical balms? I'm not sure, because now this has 0 because it's waiting... What else? It's waiting on pine resin. So let's make some nitroglycerin for a little bit. It's going to get better once we have more of these. We just have to have everything else done first. Alright. So, stairs, I believe... Yeah, the stairs do have to go there. Yeah, this is just flipped 180 degrees the other way, based on what I was attempting to do. I am reasonably sure I can just blast this out. I know it's got... Just... please understand, like, I feel like this is probably going to make more people angry, me asking for them to understand, than it is the people who don't understand. But just because the information is presented to me in a way that makes sense to you does not mean it makes sense to me. My brain has, for whatever reason, completely failed to function properly, increasingly over the last couple of years, which is concerning. But regardless, here we are. Letting these guys do whatever they have to do to get this thing done so we can move on. How are we doing on... Okay, missing 5 pencil sets. That's getting there. 42%, that's fine. This is slowly improving. I'm going to keep planting some of these things in this space as it becomes available. This guy probably doesn't need to be here, but I don't have any reason to get rid of him. I do want to save that for large farmhouse if I can. Okay, did they finish all of these? They did. Alright, kaboom. Now, getting this down here, I believe, was going to be... Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so these are the last ones that have to be... Yeah, these are the last ones that have to be demolished, exploded, whatever, but they are the ones that do have to be. So these 3 only have to go down 3, the rest of these have to go down 4. Yes, okay. Good. At some point, that will get finished. That's been done. Do I want to try to connect another zipline station over here now, or wait? Not sure. Probably also worth moving the farmhouses out over the lake here. That was something multiple people suggested. Another request was, is there still the game attic thing? Yes, that does exist. Not spending 100 science on that right now, but that is something we can do at some point in the future. Okay, that's going. How close are we? Not even a third. All right. Well, it's fine. Tapper Shack probably doesn't need to have 4 beavers in there, but also I have way too many beavers now, so just let it be what it's got to be. That does raise a good question of, though, what am I saving my science for if I'm not unlocking these other things? ENS is 2,000 science, obviously. Probably water wheel would be a smart thing to spend 350 science on. Just need to make sure that this is... Yeah, it's another 6-something days. We may or may not get that today. Okay, we finally started researching the blueprint. 4% in. Good. The other problem is I don't have a way to get up here anymore because I put my power shaft going down. So I'm going to have to... okay, that's going to be a nightmare getting up there. It would be easier to just... yeah, it'd be easier to just build a bridge over here. It's like one of those... it's like one of those 1990s, like, middle school, like, insults, like, build a bridge and get over it. Like, alright. First of all, learn some empathy. Second of all, stop it. But... I digress. I think it is time for stairs. Let's just get that down here. And this will, for better or for worse, allow us to get access to this area and eventually replace some of these things. Not sure exactly how we want to do everything else. This is waiting on more dynamite. Yeah, pretty much. 55%. Probably can turn this back on. Honestly, I should be running this overnight where we're not using power for production buildings. But we'll maybe get to that when automation is a thing. This doesn't need to be turned on. Let's pause that during temperate weather. Okay, there's more of these sunflowers I can plant, so why don't we do that? Just make it a little easier on ourselves. Okay, we do have cereal bars, so that's good to see. Pine resin really is the thing that's basically holding this entire thing back, huh? 55. I did make reference, and I know I've said a bunch of different things, but I did make reference to building a floodgate dam being an important thing to do, but I feel like maybe the bigger power wheels are going to be a little bit more important. I don't know, we're going to have to just kind of wait and see. Yeah, this is about ready here. So let's do one more set of stairs, and then our last right here. That'll work out fine. This turns around here. And then the rest of the thing can be built. It's just as soon as this gets blasted out. And then, based on this, I can either... Oh, I know what I should have researched is these regular platforms. That would save us a bunch of time. Save us a bunch of grief doing that. I need to go up 2 to get up here, or I need to go down 1, depending on how I want to do this. 1, 2, 3, that would go here just fine, honestly, depending on how we want to have things laid out. I guess I'll have to check and see if I want access up here. If I have clearance, I probably do. You know, I can't do too much at once or things are going to go bad. This forester probably didn't need to be here. Should have been changed for something else, but it's a little late for that. I'm not really planting anything, at least not recurring planting, because I can't do that with domesticated brambles. It requires a tree nursery. How are we doing on this? 64%. Berries remain a concern. Okay, this is now flooding. Okay, turn that off. That problem will resolve itself momentarily. Okay, what about everything else? This irrigation lodge and farmhouse combo probably could have a zip line thing attached to the top of it. That was something that I had threatened to do at one point. Just trying to think. Oh yeah, the merits of doing this, I don't think at that time were outweighing the cost of having this disconnected here. But I also forgot this has multiple things that it can be attached to. Do I want to build this instead of something else? Well, this would help me get over here at the very least, which I know is going to be something that's important, so maybe we should do that. Trying not to do too many things at once, though. Not necessarily succeeding, but I am trying. Let's at least get this mine built before I try to do anything else crazy. So I know this is going to help solve so many problems. Okay, this at medium mine here. Yeah, see, this is going to give me some space up top here to have a little bit of storage for things that come in and out of the mine. Don't necessarily have to avoid blasting, but I can do... I think I can get away with doing 1 here, which would allow me to, yes, I know, just use the regular crappy platforms here and get connected that way. That would allow this to be closer to the zip line for all of these things, which is objectively a good idea. 67%, 22%, okay. Probably still a good idea to just have more of these. So I'll keep building them. We're not going to have that other large farmhouse for a while. You know what? Having this connect through here and go off to that side is probably not a bad thing. It's going to be worth long term, I think, having this zipline station here, as long as I have enough. I've got 8, okay. As long as I have enough other materials to build this tar. Tar is another thing that has to be made in the Alchemist, but I think for right now this is probably worth doing. Also plays haulers like I need any more of those. Yeah, shut up and do it, I know. So let's preemptively just connect that there. And then this will just be a branch line coming down this way. But once this is in place, I want to say that we could reasonably come down this way. Maybe not with another, you know, tower thing like this, but reasonably come down this way and then come here and then over here, depending on how we want to handle things. 70%. Okay, did we finish this just in time? Get that last thing done. Please and thank you. Alright, K for kaboom. And place that. That'll get built. They're going to start with this, which I am now blowing up, and then put in stairs. There we go. Now I have access to this space, and without having, you know, too much else to really build up here. Ah, I was hoping this would fit. It does not. Crappy warehouse does not, but that one does if I put this in like so. So why don't I do this? Crappy warehouse, crappy warehouse. This most consequence that we're going to get from this is going to be quartz. And that's the only unique recipe, actually. Let's double check what goes into the mine. Okay, tools. So why don't we keep this simple, stupid, and have tools and quartz be what gets stored up here for now. Just let that be what it's got to be. It's going to take them a little bit of time to make that. Obviously, we need probably more ropes. I have 22. I think they used some of them for this. No, they've used none of them for that. Okay, this one's making ropes. No, this one was making pencil sets, which I no longer need to have them making. So let's do plant fibers. Got 22 of those. That's at 72%. This is still making explosives, which I do, to be clear, still need. Nitroglycerin-wise, I only have 3. Yikes. Okay, what is this waiting on? Is it waiting on anything? No, it's just slow. Second alchemist cannot come quickly enough. What is this making? Metal blocks, and storage is essentially full. Let's have them make another anvil, because you know we're going to need another one of those before too long. Yeah, because I've got tools, crude saw blades, metal fasteners. I really need to be making all 3 of those constantly to have any hope of getting anything accomplished. But this is a big help. That's good. I don't know if I can put a thing on top of this because of, you know, angle considerations. But since we were talking about the weather station, no, I don't want to unlock that right now. I want to see if it's going to let me build it. It seems like, yeah, the angle on this is not conducive to success, so I probably can't do that. Probably can't put anything else on top of here, which means the zipline station probably has to get replaced with something else that is that same size and shape, and then put a tower on top of it instead. Well, we'll see what happens. Tower on top of this instead may allow me to get rid of the zipline pylon. Not entirely sure. This is waiting on tar, which I technically do have. So I guess that is fine. Still at 72%. I really should not have expected that to go any faster at all. Oh, we've got 324 cereal bars with nowhere to store them. These are completely full. Pit and ladder lodge, hauler, and box storage. Is there a version of this that's just storage? Or am I going to have to... Yeah, okay, I'm going to have to research these giant ones. I don't have the glass, and I won't for a long time. Maybe we just don't worry about that for right now. We've got 1,200. Braised cabbage at 1,200 is actually a lot better than I thought it was. Okay. People have been asking for a really long time if it's time to get the relic going, and I always said no, but considering we have 14 extra beavers, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. Because the builders, should they become diseased or otherwise rendered useless, can be replaced. So we'll let them do it. I know this is currently a super low priority. That's fine. We probably need to have more builders' huts. There's also the... Oh, builder's tower upgrade. That was another thing I could do, theoretically. Except this is... Yeah, okay, that's going to be blocked off. Never mind. Is there somewhere else I hadn't built an upgrade on that I was thinking about doing an upgrade? Over here, actually. This might not be a bad spot for something like this. But I feel like this also needs to be a zipline thing. That's the curse of the ziplines is, you know, it's like Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop. That kind of thing. We have a tremendous need to have things actually improved. Wait a second. I forgot I can do that. Because these have so many connections. I'm used to it only being 2. Oh, am I going to get myself in trouble? Am I going to get myself in trouble by doing this? I think the answer is going to have to be yes. We'll wait. I'll be good. I'll wait. 75%. Okay. Nitroglycerin probably needs to be switched off sometime soon, but I need to have the explosives. I need 3 more nitroglycerin to make 1 more batch of explosives. Realistically, I really need that to be a thing. But I also really need to be making something else with the alchemist. So all these other things are just hopelessly behind. Like I said, trying to do too much at once doesn't usually end that well. Okay, what else? What else? What else? 'Cause I hate to have well, background for those of you who do not know, I was in college studying communication, broadcasting, that kind of stuff, and it was like drilled into your heads. You never want to have dead air when you're doing radio broadcasting or TV reporting or anything. You got to have something going on, or people are going to lose interest and, you know, change the channel. Then the station doesn't make any money, and then you get laid off, and then you're homeless. So, I know it's not quite as high stakes when you're doing stupid beaver videos on YouTube for a couple thousand people to watch, but I still feel compelled not to have that be a problem. 77%. All right, I need to stop worrying about that. What was I going to research besides the floodgate dam that I haven't already unlocked? Because this would be a very good thing for us to have, assuming we're about to have a drought. But it's going to require that I make more tar, so I kind of need to know pretty quick if I'm going to have... Okay, so that's researching. I guess now is probably a good enough time to just switch it back to tar and just start making more of it before it becomes a huge issue. Okay, so this is completed, which allows them to go back and forth to here, and then this can go this way, this can go this way, or whatever way we want it to. Oh. That's what it was going to be. Water wheels. There we go. And that's why I had this put in. Oh, yes. I really need to do a better job of remembering. Unfortunately, I can't really choose to fix that. About 80%. This is hopefully going to be roughly about the same time these get pulled out. Is going to be the same time that the blueprint for the farmhouse is finished. That also costs science, but it's only 75. Not a big deal. Also notably, the large farmhouse has its own zip line add-on pylon, which, you know, doesn't allow it to connect to anything else, but is a great thing to have over here. So I'm thinking, see, this can't have anything put onto it because it's just 2 farmhouses next to each other in terms of a pylon, but if I were to move this in addition to the large farmhouse and put in something else, or because I already have one here, maybe it's not that big of a deal. Because I've got the upgrade for assistant farmers. Anyway, if I had a... See, this zipline station upgrade is simultaneously the best and the worst thing that's been added to this game, because it's great because it's awesome, and it's bad because it makes me want to use it everywhere, when realistically it doesn't make sense to have everywhere. So, irrigation lodge here. If I were to put another farmhouse next to it, I could put an upgrade on top of that, which might be good, but I have to make sure that the distance of this pylon when it gets put in will be an issue. Not necessarily, but it won't be great. I need to have something on this island, though. The island of knowledge needs to have a zipline station, which I can just do a regular one here. I'm not really going to be that worried about it unless I want to have a triangle building that can have a thing attached to it and then support an upgrade. See, this is what happens. You give me these upgrade things, and I'm going to always want to upgrade it now that I know how it works. It's funny how that ends up, right? Is that done? It basically is. Have they started on this? 1%. Okay. That's fine. Just need somebody to come take care of this, and then as soon as we get that quartz, we are going to be making another one of these laboratory glasswares. We're at 71% toward the next anvil, which is good. So that can finish out. I just have to remember to watch that, but I can't get too distracted too much. Alright. Triple speed. Let's let this do the best that it can do. What was the mechanical advancement one? Okay, floodgate dam. Alright. That's fine. We can let that be its own thing. Gonna need to get some storage sometime soon, methinks. Okay, drought approaching. Yeah, that would have been a great time to put one of these things in. But I fear it's not going to be enough time. Yeah, so even if, and this won't finish in time for us to actually build something, so I guess I shouldn't be that worried about it. I'm going to... Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and get this knocked out. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make enough tar. Before we spend the science, let's think about that. Yeah, something tells me that's not going to work. Okay, so that's not worth rushing right now. Oh, I forgot I have to I have to put another thing of stairs in. And then that has to be there. Okay, that was kind of foolish of me. I was checking on this. I need to have this be done and then swap it over. The alchemist is going to make so many things so much easier once that's taken care of. Okay, so that's done. Now I'm going to have that going, which... oh, that's already hiding stuff? Okay. Oh, man. I forgot about methane. Okay, well, it's not the end of the world, because methane can be synthesized in the fermentation barrels with the nenifars. But the problem with the nenifars is they have to be harvested from the large farmhouse or the florist. So, why does that say brambleflower? Let's double check this. Okay, it's clay. Alright, we're good. I'm going to let this berry finish. And then swap this over. Nenifars, that may have just saved our day here. I know I still have to, actually make the things, but... okay, I don't want to build any more housing. Fermentation barrels probably should be somewhat close to this, but they can't be underwater. I've got these over here. Maybe what I should do, outside of... No, I can't put anything over here. Alright, it's going to have to go over here. I'm going to have to find some place that I could actually do something. Alright. Maybe not the best place to stick it. I don't really care. We just have to have something. I have to be able to make some quantity of methane for this to be viable. I know I need 30 nenifars. This will hold 15, which means I need to have a... Do they go in a warehouse? I think they go in a warehouse. I can't build it on top of any of this, can I? No. Okay, what was going in here? Sunflower seeds? Absolutely not. Oh, because that's a pile. Okay, well, in the interest of actually having something done over here, let's put nenifar storage. Need to have some way of storing these. Also, water pumping is a problem. I know that's, you know, people have been saying that because now I got way too many beavers. That's been an issue. We will improve it slowly. Somebody left a comment. A lot of you guys leave really good, insightful comments, and I really appreciate it. I regret that I'm not able to, you know, adequately follow through on most of them. But somebody left a comment that, among many, many, many good pieces of advice, also said something to the effect of, water beavers is really hard, not only because of the complexity of all the other stuff you have to manage, but because everything you add also increases population, which means it's a constant 2 steps forward in terms of technology, 1 step backward in terms of being unable to keep up with supplying your beavers with food and water, and you have to be proactive about expanding farming and water pumping all the time. Which is absolutely true, and I have basically completely ignored it for a long time. We really would do well to upgrade our pumps to deep water pumps, which are a lot more efficient. But that takes materials we don't really have. So the best thing we can really do is build more pumps, but more pumps increase population. So the best thing we can do that isn't horrible is build upgrades. But you have to have things in a row to build a bunch of upgrades, and it's not super simple. So the best I can do is just keep putting in a couple things at a time and letting it be what it's going to be. Sunflower seeds don't need to be right here. This pile is not really necessary, so I'm going to move that. Ah, that's why. Okay. Well, if I blow this up, I can put another one of these here, and I can expand population by only 3 beavers, but then add another one of these on top, which might actually be better than doing that. Let's just do that. This is a mess. I'm aware. It's going to get fixed at some point. Are we actually getting quartz? We are. We got tools there. We got quartz there. This is going to be waiting on methane for quite some time, but I don't want to turn it off of that or else it's not going to get done. Oh, they're eating the nenifars, these blasted beavers. That's the other thing that's really annoying, is the beavers will just eat your raw materials for stuff that they otherwise need to live. Alright. Continuing on our journey of what in the world am I actually doing. Why did that flood here first? Okay, 90%. That's at 45. Alright. At least we've got trees coming through here. At least we got that going for us. That's nice. Somehow mushrooms are catching up. Berries still have not really caught up. But we do have 1,400 of the whatever this is, and we've got 300 something cereal bars. Probably should be storing more cereal bars. But they're not going to eat the rice balls until they have to, which means I probably shouldn't have this set to rice balls. Well, it's going to yell at me for doing this, but it's not going to actually cause any harm. I'm just going to swap this over to rice balls, or cereal bars. So as the rice balls are consumed, they will be swapped out of here to fill the other storage, and then this will be a viable thing. So that tells me if I just build storage for rice balls elsewhere, they'll take it out. And I don't want to super overcomplicate stuff. Right, I do need to really carefully watch the mechanics lodge for completion of that thing, and then all of the rest of this. See, now the other problem is I don't remember exactly what it was I was doing. Okay, at least I can put nenifars in here as they are completed, hopefully, before somebody you know, eats them all. Prioritize that. I'm really curious to see if... Okay, good. They are putting it in here. As soon as I have 30, then I'll have, in 8 hours, 60 methane. This recipe requires... Of course it does. Requires 75. Okay. Well, we got one of these up. That's got to count for something. We've got pine trees. Yeah, they're still not even... They're like 2/3 done grown. Okay, well that's also going to help a lot of stuff. We did establish that. Screw press axles are going to become a problem at some point, probably soon. I'm going to swap this back over so that Bobbing About and others can chew on, you know, chew on some logs, make us some screw press axles. Yeah, water is a problem that needs to be solved now and not later. Well, it's really a problem that needs to be solved 5 episodes ago. But you know how this goes. Let's do this immediately. That's going to give us 3 more pumps worth of water, which is going to be 9 per hour. I know that's not much, but it's something. And we will have maximum 9-day drought, which, you know, means we can keep pumping. It might kill some of our crops, but that's not the end of the world. We've actually made some decent progress clearing the ruins away here. That's not bad. Not bad at all. This is fine with having fewer beavers. The mine did help a lot with getting the workplaces evened out. It's taking from these things that don't have to have beavers working in them. That's good. Tapper Shack has been dutifully sitting here without anything to tap. Be like that sometimes. Okay, working on that, and then this has all the materials. It should. Pine resin is going to be the annoying thing to build these, because that is like the entire thing we've been having this whole time. Okay, I got 45 tar. That is not enough to build the floodgate dam. I need 100. That's why that has not been done, for those of you who are curious. But if I don't get it now, I will not remember, so I'm going to go ahead and unlock it. And even though this cannot be built today, I'm going to leave this as it is. Okay, so I think I can actually leave this at 1.65 and not mess with it at all. That'll irrigate a lot more of this. This will be full up to about 2/3, which is fine because this is already dammed off. It actually might not be full up to 2/3 at all because it also goes off the side here. And then that stops there. Alright. So, what may be a good thing to build over here is a regular dam. One of these primitive ones. Because that would allow us to keep the water level higher on this side. During a bad tide, obviously, this is going to be less of a desirable thing, and we can, once we can build more of these, divert that way ahead of time. I'm not going to commit to putting a dam here right now. I think that's going to be probably a little too much for right now. But I want to make sure, see that, okay, they did start this. I need to make sure this is top priority. Oh, hey, that's me. I think we're going to be okay. Understanding that this is not good. We're doing all right. Okay, we've got 22 Nenafars in here. Someone was very slow because I think they got disease. Yeah, we got 7 contaminated beavers. I bet I know how that happened. We're only at 5%. That's a thing. Okay, I've got 6... if I have 7 contaminated beavers, these should both be full, but I guess they're just, you know, lumbering their way up here. Probably could stand to have another one of these built. I don't really have a spot to do it right now. These guys do have some quartz. This has been fully stocked. That's good. Methane we've already established is going to be a big pain in the butt. Okay, this is flooding. Okay, hit pause. That can shrink back. Food's slowly improving. They have, as I expected, consumed precisely 0 rice balls. Yeah, we're going to have to evacuate the rice balls. That is scaffolding I don't necessarily want to use. Okay, we have far-off corners of our little nonsense zone over here that aren't really doing anything. So if I were to just place a couple crappy warehouses for something like, say, rice balls to disappear to, so that way they're, you know, not gone, but out of the way, so to speak. I would have to have, I think, technically 5 of these. Which, you know what, it's going to cost so little in terms of resources to just build these. It's not worth worrying about. We can just have these somewhere until I can have a better storage for them somewhere else. I think it's very important that we have the cereal bars stored over here. Alright. This is already getting to be kind of a long video, so we should stop soon. Just want to make sure that I'm not... Okay, 98%. Good. Good. I did want to catch this being done before I ended this video, so then I can swap this over to either the washing machine or the ENS blueprint. Probably needs to be the ENS blueprint. Let me just check what that one requires. No, we can't because we aren't making spicy soda. Okay. Floodgate dam... already done. Improved water wheel working on. So I guess it's going to be the washing machine. Alright, show me the zeros. Or I guess a single 0. Alright. So that has been done. Let's research the washing machine. Let's turn this over to... giant log? No. Large water wheel. Large water wheel. Turn both of those on. We haven't actually, you know, researched or started building any of those, and that's the thing. Okay, I really want to make sure I didn't miss anything I promised people I'd take a look at. I did address getting more alchemists, because now we have the quartz, and we are working on getting methane by virtue of having the nenophares working, and this is actually functioning. Talked about what I'm going to do with farmhouses over here. Based on the amount of rice that we're not using, it may be possible to move these farms over the water and just take a couple more pieces of land away, because I can plant more rice on this side. Large farmhouse over here. There is, and someone did mention this, I wanted to acknowledge that, there is a good case for a large farmhouse to be built over here in this area, so that the harvester's cottage, which I will show you here, can harvest lotus flowers without the nenophares being cut down. Those require a 2 deep area, which the vast majority of this is 1 deep, so that wouldn't be fantastic. But the range of this, if we wanted to do a little bit of digging or blasting or whatever, would still have a decent chance of, you know, having a good amount of space here. So I don't want to forget about that. I don't know that that would be the first place I'd put one of those, but this would be a good use of that. I think if I'm just building one at a time, obviously it has to go over here. But talked about basic balm. That ties into the second alchemist being really, really, really important. We will get there. I talked about the seamstress. I didn't want to use the science on it quite yet, but we'll build one of those. Talked about where the Everblossom Clockwork Farm was. We have fewer beavers working in the corner with the lumberjack things. We already talked about doing this area. Fixed the floodgate dam recipe thing being done again. I did, over here, put one of these gatherer flags to get these couple of berry bushes, which, you know, that's not a completely pointless thing. That is good to have that. Cereal bars turned back on, working on hopefully improving that. Just have to be able to, you know, get the stuff out of here. They're working on, theoretically, working on this. The other thing that I hadn't done was build a gravity battery over here, but I didn't really have a great place to hook this up without it being a problem. I'm not saying I'm not going to do it, I just feel like right now I don't have a good way to implement that. I know we need to build more mushroom growers. That will come in due time. Food is slowly being fixed. Water pumping is being addressed. That's going to be one of those things that we just kind of, you know, have to be better about as time goes on, because it's not going to get fixed overnight. I think, folks, that's about the best I can do for this episode, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Just want to make sure. Yeah, 60%. I've got them duplicating the improved water wheel blueprints, so we'll be able to utilize those, increase the amount of power we've got coming out of spots over here. Things are going to get better. I appreciate you guys bearing with me here. It's just a lot going on in this mod, and with the other playthrough, it's a whole lot going on with the beavers, and probably should have waited to start the other one. But we're in the middle of both of them now, and you know, don't quit. So we're just going to keep on keeping on. I'm going to give it my best. Just please understand that, you know, sometimes it's not going to be probably quite as much as some of you want, but I am trying. I appreciate your support, Beard Boosters, as always, enabling the insanity that is the way we do things here. And I'm always going to be thankful for those folks making it possible for me to even, you know, try to do 6 or 7 videos a week on this channel. And I do want to get into other stuff again, too. I know we've been waiting on an Ostrov update for several years at this point, and I'm hopeful that we'll get one of those soon. I want to do more Transport Fever stuff. Might start another stream series on that. And then, of course, the 3rd game is coming out sometime in 2026. We don't know exactly when, but I'm looking forward to that. And the other games that I've been attempting to get to at this point, probably for several years, but beavers drive the bus on this channel, so to speak. So we do always end up focusing on them. But I still love this game, and I trust that you do as well. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you again soon for more from these guys and the insane beavers over there on Timberpunk 2. Take care. Bye-bye.